Okay, so this is the Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians. So yesterday, I basically said that I thought that Golden Guardians had the weakest performance of a team out of all of the games that I VOD reviewed yesterday. So we're going to see if that stays true today. Cloud9 starting off with a Ezreal ban, and Golden Guardians going for Ornn into Rengar. Kalista now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that rounded out with Zoe. That's basically the Camille Rengar LeBlanc of 1 year ago. I think that's the standard thing on red side, but maybe Hai isn't actually able to play Zoe. Maybe they're not even actually afraid of Hai's Zoe. Maybe Jensen's just like, okay, give me Kassadin, or give me Azir or something like that, and we'll play around it. You know what would be actually hilarious against Zoe? I wonder. Well, maybe the champion's just still way too useless, but Lissandra could maybe be pretty interesting against Zoe. Okay, so Zoe is insta-locked in, and it is met with a insta-locked Tahm Kench, probably not going to be a top lane. Zilean was also banned away, perhaps thinking that Jensen would, or maybe Golden Guardians weren't expecting to get a hold of Zoe. That's a little bit strange, but whatever. And Jensen actually just locks in the Rise. So Rise and Tahm Kench, I don't think that there's so many mid laners that are still available, so most of which are, basically going to have the same chance against Zoe. Does Zoe have two different color eyeballs? I just noticed that for the first time. I don't think that you needed to go Rise right away. I could have just picked ADC. Now, again, a preemptive Gangplank pick is kind of strange to me. So you have the Zoe, you have the Gangplank, and I do like that they have the Varus. This is a pretty rapid damage dealer, able to get a lot of stuff going. Would have preferred actually to see something else like Kog'Maw. Varus basically Kog'Maw's. I'm a coach, by the way. Stop. All right, that's just not here. Okay, never mind. All right, Varus is fine. Varus is actually all that remains for that type of an approach. So, coach, by the way. Tristana ends up being locked in for Cloud9. I think that's pretty standard. Kog'Maw has popped up a lot on the Korean server lately as an answer to the most popular ADCs that are going on right now. So see what the second ban phase has. So wouldn't be surprised to just see Golden Guardians pinch top lane to try to maybe get, or to try to force an advantageous matchup for Gangplank. Licorice is actually known for his Fiora, and I know that Koreans are very keen on picking Fiora into Gangplank, but maybe they don't want to bring out Fiora in this game. Although it would provide quite a threat coming in from top lane. Gangplank would have a little bit of an edge, being the blue side Gangplank instead of the red side would be a little bit more difficult. And it looks like Cloud9 just looking to actually pinch supports. Lulu is still open though. But the problem is that if Golden Guardians is going to go with the Lulu to supplement the Varus, then it means that they're going to be locked into like either a J4 or they should be locked into like a Sejuani. Because both of these champions are going to have synergy with the Lulu, they're going to have synergy with the Zoe. Other champions that you could maybe look at is something like Gragas, because he actually provides a little bit more disruption against the Tahm Kench than say like a Sedge or a J4 would. In a weird universe, you could do something just completely unorthodox, like Kha'Zix or Shyvana, but then you're like asking to just lose. Kled, okay, that's another pick that I would actually associate with Licorice, so that's up there with the Fiora. I'm really interested to see that. But if they had intentions to pick Kled, I don't know why they wouldn't just have actually gone for Spellbook Sivir, especially because this means that they have power mid, power top, and then they could have just let Sivir get away with the unsealed Spellbook while having the Tahm Kench on the defensive side of bottom lane. And then they can just go with a very aggressive jungler to back this up, and they can just try to blow Lorlo right out of the water, and they can make it so Zoe doesn't have enough of an advantage early on, and then if that can happen and Sivir just keeps up in CS, then they can ride out the wave from top lane, and Kled is just going to be too much of a nuisance for Deathly on the Varus. Really like that they're hovering Taric. I think that this basically goes directly against what Cloud9 maybe want to do, which is to bring this giant wave into the team, disrupt a lot of the backline, threaten all the carries simultaneously, and the Taric ult will dissuade that like all-in burst, and it can really disrupt it and mess with Kled. So really nice pick there. And then they end up going for the J4. and Cloud9 hovering Lee Sin, and now hovering Ivern, and instead just actually going for Evelynn. Evelynn, I think, is a little bit weaker here than some other picks, and the reason that I say that, well, you have to look at it in a few ways. So there's a lot of heavy attack damage coming out inside of Tristana, inside of Kled. Is Zoe going to want to build magic resistance against Ryze? Well, probably not. Does Lorlo want to build magic resistance against Kled, or even build it like second or third item? No, he doesn't. Varus is probably going to get Wit's End. It would only make sense. Amplifies his own damage, amplifies Zoe's, amplifies Lorlo's ultimate, amplifies Tarik's damage, etc. But realistically, Evelynn should be able to deal a lot of damage. The problem is that I don't know how you actually gank top lane unless Licorice, manipulates the wave very, very well, and then you have a pretty good minion wave. You can dive Lorlo at that point, as long as Jensen has priority in mid on the left-hand side. And you can look to basically play around that, because Gangplank's not going to be getting any aid from a blue side Jarvan. Blue side Jarvan isn't atrocious depending on the top lane matchups. He can obviously approach pretty well with Blasting Plant River and then just get a long EQ with Flash and R and stuff. You can end up killing the top laner a few centimeters in front of their turret, even if they do end up having Flash, or majority of top laners. And then bottom lane is going to be relatively safe. So this is actually a pretty unique spot where I personally wouldn't have minded an Elise, to be completely honest. I also think Gragas even works here just as a disruption, because this is a team composition that needs to turtle, and it also disrupts the Taric quite a lot. The Evelynn doesn't need to be dealing enormous amounts of damage. Ryze, Tristana, and Kled will certainly do that for you. And then Gragas is just able to offer he's able to offer just like this off tank that's still going to deal damage, because the enemy team isn't going to build any magic resist. So that's one of the only things that maybe I would consider changing up. A little bit surprised that Golden Guardians is going with one of these types of team compositions. Really curious to see how Hai is going to perform on Zoe. Hai got Azir yesterday, and that was not a good Azir showing. And now he's getting... So Hai has, in his 2 games of the LCS opening, gotten the 2 strongest, the gods of mid lane. There is Azir and there is Zoe, okay? It's I don't even know what this is. This is Azir and Zoe up here, and then below that, everyone else, okay? And then, somewhere in this line is Talia, just because you can't lose lane with her. But, that's pretty much it. So let's see what ends up happening inside of this game. Just a 5-point opening. Not too much chaos actually unfolding. Minion Dematerializer actually picked up by both parties. And this is something that I think was popularized by Apto, at least out of a named known player, taking that originally to obviously alter the state of the lane by, being able to shove unnaturally faster at different points where players wouldn't be able to expect it. So red side start 4J4, he immediately goes into his Wraiths. And now let's just pause for a second and talk about some stuff. Can Evelynn do something really cheeky against Zoe at level 2? Yeah, Svenskeren could probably go for that. When Jensen has level 2, you hit her with a Rune Prison, Spell Flux, you get the charm off, and maybe you get the flash out of Hai. But the problem is Hai has the cleanse. So obviously respecting that sort of combo obviously dissuades them from trying to go from any sort of level 2 shenanigans. Since Garen is starting on the right-hand side, so he's probably going to go 1, 2, and then maybe 3. If he acknowledges that nothing can really happen in bottom lane, and if he acknowledges that Jarvan can't actually approach bottom lane, then Svenskeren could be a little bit tricky, and he could just go 1, 2, 3, and then transition into either this, or he could just actually go like that, or he could just go like this, or he could just do this, recall, this, and then approach. He can mix it up a lot, as long as he identifies, what is happening inside of the lanes. Contracts, on the other hand, not going to be able to do anything up in top lane. I would personally like to just see Contracts go like this, and just basically say F you. And the reason that I say this is because, again, High has the cleanse. It is not important to have the Scuttle Crab right now, because honestly, if Lorlo or High manage to die to any sort of left side shenanigans that comes out of Svenskeren, it's their own fault. They should be able to play around it. They should be virtually immune. He has no business to come back onto the right-hand side of the map at like level 2, level 3, level 4. He doesn't need to be here. Well, level 4 is when he needs to start being on the right-hand side of the map again, but until then, Contract should actually just be safe to do a full clear. And he should acknowledge that he should be able to get away with it, and that's why I'm saying that Svenskeren should also acknowledge that, and he should react accordingly. If it was solo queue or something, I would probably be saying some stuff that's a little bit different, but for the most part, I think this is how it is right now. So Contract actually just gets blue and then comes into Eve's jungle, and looks like he actually just wants to take away the golems. And okay, so this is something I didn't just touch on. This is interesting. And here's why this is interesting, right? So he doesn't get to do this, right? And then recall, or he doesn't get to do this, recall, and then this, right? And then end up picking up Evelyn's rubber banded camp. But with doing this route, okay, what he does end up doing is Eve has to know she can't go like this. She can't go like that. So now if Svenskeren does go for something like this, he's now forced into these. And now he doesn't have a camp on the top side, which means that he has even less incentive to come up here. And the rubber banded camp that's going to end up respawning is going to be telegraphed. Because Sven, if he comes down, he gets the Scuttle Crab, he gets the Scuttle Crab. He can't risk going here because all that it takes is Matt to back up and ward that, and then it's all too easy for High to actually collapse down, especially when he's shoved underneath the turret. If Jensen would have like constant pressure, constant priority, it would be a little bit different. But this alteration by Contracts is kind of nice. And also, it's letting Lorlo actually be a little bit more aggressive. He's able to play up. He doesn't actually have to invest into using his trinkets or anything. And you can see that High, running like God, rolls in, I think that was an Ignite, right? Able to cast that pretty early on. And you can see that Contract's actually just falling back and continuing his little farm. And look at the edge that he gets over Svenskeren now. Because Sven's rubber banded camp is gonna pop up. Where are you going, Sven? Where are you going? You're gonna find vision. You're gonna get, you can get some pink wards out. But Jarvan's never going top lane. So control wards and vision on the left hand side is almost completely irrelevant because Jarvan's never going top. Jarvan's gonna be playing on the right hand side now. You can see that his Wraith camp is up. He has his green trinket, and now he's gonna be able to come in, and he knows that Eve is at her Wraith camp because it's the only place that she can be at right now. So he's able to get some pretty good deep wards in, and this is just helping Deftly and Matt. It's helping High out, and GoldenGuardians actually being allowed to scale. And this Evelyn pick not really doing a lot. Now, the difference between Evelyn and Elise is Elise can make things happen earlier on a little bit better. Elise probably not that popular of a pick right now in NA solo queue, maybe even EU. Some Korean teams still playing her in scrims occasionally. She is still... she's basically like an Orianna or a Thresh. She never really goes away. You just can't, deny her kit. Now you can see that Contract's committing to bottom lane. This is just primarily because if the Varus ends up getting ahead and the Gangplank is even, and they can just get Gangplank out of the Kled lane and Kled doesn't end up getting advantage, things become quite problematic. Because Varus can just definitely get out of control. Trading Flash there. Something you have to be conscious of, though, when trading flashes is the Unsealed Spellbook, and obviously Jensen already has Ionian Boots. It's not exactly a one-for-one trade. Yes, High gets some benefit out of it, but you look at all the lanes right now, and Cloud9 is winning in most of them. In CS, although actually I wouldn't call the Kled thing a win right now. Definitely would not call the Kled thing a win right now. He is up in CS, but you have to remember Gangplank's Parlay Gold. You got to remember the Kleptomancy. You have to factor in all of that. Drowsy. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Must be nice. Alright, smoothly coming down. He's trying to get some ward coverage out. He knows that Sneaky is immune with where he is right now. And it looks like Cloud9, they want to get something happening. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Actually, high. You know, he's hitting some of these Zoe combos. Is this the updated Zoe too, with the more punishing, RQ thing? So Golden Guardian's actually doing pretty okay so far with how they're moving around the map, but the real question is going to become is what happens in the mid game? Do they know how to move around in the mid game? Do they know what to do? It's really difficult for Contracts to make stuff happen, but now at level 6, I mean, he has the Jarvan ultimate, they have the ultimate on Lorlo, they should be really fighting for right-hand side vision control, you know, investing into defensive pink wards. You don't need offensive pink wards against Eve. Use defensive pink wards, you invite her in, you know, coordinate with your laners to play defensively, and then you just counter match gank all day long. And then you look to set up 4-man, 5-man plays with Gangplank, and that's how you're going to begin to create plays. It doesn't matter that, you know, they have Tom Kench and they have Tristana in bottom. You're still able to... Oh, sorry. I got to pause 1 second. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I caught my leg. Sorry. So basically it's not that bad. It's just like one, I was itching my leg and I accidentally, itched and there was a scab and I accidentally just rubbed too hard and it came off, so a little bit of blood. Sorry about that. Trust me, it's not because I'm watching, NA VODs, alright? So anyways, let's get back into this. So, Svenskeren, trying to run around, trying to coordinate something. High. Barely, yeah, he's able to get out there. And Jensen able to get out as well. Stopwatch, nice item. And, oh, here comes Licorice. And this is just really, so let's take a look at this. Alright. So you can see that Contract's farming in close proximity. Svenskeren's here. He knows that he's invisible. They know that High doesn't have cleanse. Jensen flashes, gets the rune prison, and then High immediately goes for the stopwatch, right? And then Contracts is here. So here's the thing. Licorice shoved in top lane, okay? And then he goes for the roam, and you have to respect Kled's ultimate. And you know that Kled's missing. You don't have any vision. You know he just shoved it in. Why is Contracts advancing forward? Why is High going forward? It's because they see low HP targets, right? So there's the Gangplank ult. Low HP targets. Why go back in? Getting jebaited. You know, you can't do that. You just can't do it. It's just not something that you can actually do. Now, one of the things I'm even curious about is what exactly is happening down in bottom lane. We're not getting a peek at that. We can see that, you know, there's some sort of poking. I'm wondering if actually Smoothie is even able to run away with Tristana. I wonder if, like, before or as this is all happening. So, like, let's take a look at as it happens. Let's look at the state of bottom lane. All right, just watch Tristana and Smoothie. Look at their mana and their HP. I wonder if they can just go really ham and shove really hard. Definitely and Nat would obviously respond to that accordingly. But then if Sneaky and Smoothie just start moving into the river with Tom Kenchall, you can just dive a turret as long as Licorice has priority. And then even if Lorlo teleports down onto this turret, it's going to end up being like a 2 for 3. It's going to be a 2 for 3, and then you'll probably get mid-tier 1 turret. And that's going to end up being a pretty big victory for Cloud9. So not entirely sure, you know, what Golden Guardians are thinking here. You know, it kind of looks close. I mean, they get one kill, they get a kill on the Svenskeren, but in the end, it's just ultimately not worth it. Seems like some communication issue. No, pings don't matter. Remember, they're on voice comms. You get the ultimate out of Varus. Sneaky and Smoothie doing such a good job, actually, right now. Contract's now in close proximity to bottom, but the problem is that Licorice still has teleport. Even though he doesn't have his ultimate available, that doesn't matter. These guys are just way too low HP. So, like, take an example of this. This is a pretty big blunder. All right, let's just, okay, yeah, thank you, Adobe. So right here, you see contracts coming off fountain, and let's just watch what happens. So this trade happens, definitely ends up having to flash away. Now, obviously, the flash in itself is an error. Okay? This never should have happened. They never should have taken that much of a beating. And when it does end up happening, Jarvan should not do this. Jarvan should just come straight up the lane, go up with Deathly, go up with Matt, meet this wave, shove it, and then bottom lane backs up recalls, and then Jarvan just goes like this. Obviously, Sneaky and Smoothie will shove this wave. They'll probably even shove the next wave, and then, you know, it's just an L that you have to take. You know, continue to let your Gangplank scale, continue to let, you know, Zoe try to scale up, and, you know, look to fight better days. It's okay if you lose the bottom tier 1 turret. It's only a Cloud Drake. They're not getting something, you know, massive out of this. Yes, Cloud Drake is pretty big for a Ryze, and Evelynn, and a Kled, but I think that Contrax's decision to farm the golems and then just do nothing was atrocious. It was just a complete loss of tempo. They needed to go to bottom lane. They needed to shove out the wave together as 3, and then back up, let the bottom lane reset, then Contrax goes and farms. If Sneaky and Smoothie shove in the next wave, Contrax goes back to the turret, he's full HP, they're not going to kill him underneath the turret. Okay, they can maybe get some damage onto the turret, they can get some damage onto Contrax or something, and then by the time Contrax would have to recall, he is going to lose tempo on the left-hand side of the map, but that's okay because you have a blue side Gangplank. So as long as High is playing correctly, and as long as Gangplank is using his barrels correctly and everything, he should still be able to fade a gank up in top lane, even if you think that, like, okay, like, let's say Svenskaren's on the left-hand side as Contract's doing the stuff on the bottom, and then Svenskaren goes over onto the left-hand side to maybe make a gank up top. Obviously, this is a situation where Jensen wants to power shove, you know, stay at around 25 to 30% mana, and then look to move into left side river. This is going to make Lorlo back all the way up, unless he was able to fight back the lane right here and dissuade a dive. He still has his top watch, he still has his flash available, he can make things get pretty ugly, you know, and make it a pretty heavy commitment, even though I think that Cloud9 should still be able to pull it out. And this is just a byproduct of Matt and Deathly's laning, you know, like a minute ago. They overcommit to another fight down here. They cast the Taric ultimate. They end up picking up a kill onto Svenskaren. They lose Matt, though. They almost lost Contracts. And Drowsy, pretty good ability. And Zoe ends up going down. Not something they get to see every day. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know what? God, that champ, man. I felt that. I mean, I'm not even playing the game. I felt that. Twitch chat, you felt that. Your mother probably felt. She probably just woke up and she's like, ooh. I'm like, all right, mama Twitch chat, please go back to sleep. God, she like makes her, oh, I don't even know what to say. Unfortunate. Drowsy ended up missing, but that wasn't the big problem. They were overcommitting here. Pick up the kill onto Sven. Now we look at the follow-up rotations. Cloud9 is pretty ahead. Ryze is really big. Kled is really big. And those are the two champions they really want to be strong. The people that you want to be having assists right now, oddly enough, is actually going to be, well, you know, maybe kills on Jensen would be more ideal. Let's rewind. Kills on Jensen would be more ideal. Kills on Sneaky would be more ideal. Assists on Jensen, Svenskaren would be more ideal. But let's just rewind this one more time. Jensen's in mid. He's shoving in. You see that Sneaky and Smoothie have rotated to top. Licorice going into bottom. I think this is actually an error. And the reason that I think this is an error is because Licorice is going to have his ultimate in, you know, a reasonable amount of time. By going into bottom lane, he's not achieving anything, right? There's still the turret, which is a thorn in everyone's side. And Herald is a pretty real objective now at like 1630. Okay, so why Licorice doesn't just move through the fog of war, wait in position when he acknowledges that he's already really far ahead, and then look to make something happen with his flash, and just providing presence, use his presence to provide a fight at the Herald, maybe get the Gangplank out, ultimate out, and then Licorice comes back to mid, Ryze bounces into bottom lane, Ryze gets his blue, he gets the big wave that's going to pile up in bottom, and all that good jazz. I think that the macro plays are being lost out on a little bit. GoldenGuardians actually doing a pretty okay job at, getting back some points into this game. Sneaky and Smoothie come down, and Licorice, he's getting a lot of value down in bottom, but he's ending up just running into a brick wall, and he's not achieving much. And this is what Gangplank wants. It's very hard to penetrate Gangplank when he's in this type of a position. Obviously the Ditto is up here, and then obviously down here. This is why losing these turrets is not the end of the world, depending on who your top laner is and like what they want to do and what they can offer to the team. So we got that going. So you can see Licorice is down here. Sven coming down as well. Okay, Lorlo just playing way too greedy. He doesn't need to do this. He just doesn't need to come up that far. They just need to wait. They need to be like, okay, we got GP. We have, Varus. We have Zoe. We can just wait. Like this team comp, do you see Siege inside of this? No. Right? Do they have a Mountain Drake? No. Okay. Do they have an Infernal? No. Then what are you so afraid of? Even if they get Rift Herald, they're just going to get this turret. They're not getting any tier 2s with it. This turret's bound to fall, whatever. You don't need to get gold right now because your team composition is more gold efficient than Cloud9's at this point in time. You know that, just envision this, and envision a 30-minute team fight and how it goes. Right? Kled comes rolling in from like 3,000 range away or 2,500 range away in the Fog of War. It's followed up by maybe Sven going for like a flank or something. Ryze is running up there. Tristana, Tom Kench, peeling, etc. And that's how the team fight's going to break out. And you know that this team just needs to hold a phalanx and basically kite endlessly and use defensive Gangplank barrels, and all they need to do is turtle this area. Later on in the game, when they're defending and fortifying like this area, okay, when they're just trying to fortify this right here, everything inside of this blue, all right, all they need to do, okay, is keep Gangplank bottom lane, right, and you keep contracts hovering between mid lane right around here. You keep contracts bouncing around somewhere inside of here, and you keep them in close proximity so that Licorice can't just dive them endlessly, all right? And then, once you manage to shove back waves against Licorice or something, then you can just turtle your blue side jungle, prevent Baron captures, and then scale up to 3, 4, 5 items, and then look to capture team fights. I would say the game is kind of even right now. And I say kind of. I think that C9 is still slightly ahead. Okay, they're going to lose a turret. Not the end of the world. Oh, they didn't end up even losing it, but probably it's going to drop right now. Yeah. Okay, so that ends up dropping. Cloud9 is very, very slightly ahead. They're going through turbulence right now, but it's not going to kill them. It's like when you're in an airplane and you think that you're going to fall and die. It's not going to happen. Is she jump roping? God, she doesn't miss a beat. That's Tyler 1's future wife. God, she's probably 5'6" too. 5'6" centimeters. 56 centimeters. Great. All right. Let's take a look at this. Now they're summoning Rift Herald in mid. And what are we seeing that says to us we need to team fight? Hold on. Let me slow this down so I can get a picture of the mini map. Just give me a sec. Let's open up MS Paint. All right. Let's get the mini map really quick. Grab this really quick. I'm not very good at this stuff, by the way. Thanks. All right. So let's take a look at this. All right. So Cloud Drake, useless vision, useless vision, useless vision, useless vision. Okay. Can either team take Baron? No. Right? So Baron's not on the table. No Baron. That's probably really hard to read. No Baron. Okay. Cloud Drake. So completely useless. What else is going on? I mean, we have a Gangplank in a dream spot right now, right? We have a mid-tier 1 turret dead, which is good, because that means that all that we have to defend now is just this, right? All that we have to defend is just this line, right? I'll draw it in green, or like lime green or something, so if people can see it maybe a little bit easier. That's all we have to do. They can't take Baron. They can't do anything. They can't Cledel and just go gung-ho down mid. Okay, they can't do that. They can't kill GP right now. Even if they get top tier 1, you're not going to lose the game over 100 gold. Why are we summoning Rift Herald in mid to get this turret? What obligation do we have to capture this right now? Other than saying to ourselves, oh, we're down 3 turrets. Or no, we're down 2. Why? So picture it from Cloud9's point of view. They have a bunch of useless vision, right? They have a bunch of useless vision. They don't have a way to crack the tier 2s. They do not have a way to stop the scaling of Gangplank right now. They do not have a way to capture Baron. The neutral objective that exists inside of Cloud is trash. They should actually just pick it up, but they can't do anything here. The best they can do is commit, ADC, support top lane, right? Ryze just shoves in mid, get some vision on the left-hand side, clear it out, whatever, capture the turret, shove it in. That's what they can do. Wait for the lane to bounce back into bottom lane, and then you send bottom lane mid, you send Ryze into bottom lane, you send Kled up to top to pick up the wave, light tap it, generate a slow push. Ryze gets the wave down here, he shoves one more wave down here. That's it, right? Ryze ends up picking up his blue, whatever. That should realistically be all that they can accomplish right now. If you're looking at Cloud9 and asking, what do we want right now? Well, we want, any which way Kled can just somehow create a clusterfuck inside of here. Demonetized, by the way. This is all that they need. They need Ryze and Kled to disrupt and cause chaos right now, before the Varus and the Zoe and the Gangplank just suddenly start being like, oh, okay, we're going to cast one ability and you lose half your life, right? Before the point where, the other members on Golden Guardians just get, innately tanky and more problematic, and then the Taric ultimate inside of a Phalanx inside of this area is really, really concerning for Cloud9, because the Taric ult basically means that the Kled ultimate is basically it's a one-way street. It's like a suicide mission. It's like Batman at the end of The Dark Knight. Spoilers, okay? But anyways, you gotta wonder, why do this? It doesn't make any sense. It is a misunderstanding of macro. So let's just see how this whole thing takes place. Okay? So teamfight ends up going okay, right? They get a lot of damage. They even end up killing Smoothie. Okay? And they're going to get the mid-tier 1 turret. Summon it. They get the mid-tier 1 turret. And that's it. So, best case scenario, they get the mid-tier 1 turret, and they get, a kill. Worst case scenario, a fight breaks out, they lose 2 members, don't get a mid-tier 1 turret, they inadvertently will lose top-tier 1 turret, and they gave Cloud9 exactly what they wanted. So, in the end, when you look at this from a result-based standpoint, it looks okay. Realistically, it's not okay. It's sort of like, why are they looking for this? Lorlo might end up... Yeah, Lorlo's dead. Oh, he's not dead. And then Sneaky actually ended up dying. So hold on, let's look at the minimap. Let's watch this. Gangplank pushing up, and then he should actually back up way further, especially against an Evelynn. This is just specific to Eve. At least with mobility boots, you should also probably just back up way further. If you anticipate that they can actually close a big distance. So champions that can close a big distance. So Elise mobility boots, Evelynn, these are champions that you should be playing around like that. Top laners, you're looking at Kled, you're looking at Sion, and you're looking at, if you think they're ghetto enough to invest a Shen plus Elise or Shen plus Eve to kill you, then you should back all the way up. But it's very specific to the champions that are in the game. 99 out of 100 games where you change the top laner, you make it like Fiora, you make it Maokai, you make it Nautilus, you make it, a bunch of other random stuff, Nasus, you're fine to recall there. So it's just probably like a lack of practice, and maybe just a little bit of laziness out of Lorlo. That's pretty much it. And now you can see that he's continuing to come up to push the wave. He has the Sterak's. I actually really like the itemization out of Lorlo this game. I would really like to see Guardian Angel out of Licorice next. That, I think, would be the best item for him to get, because it opens up a lot of the dive potential. They need to close this game before it gets to like 4 and 5 items. Cloud9 is the one that's on a little bit of a clock. They do have some insurance policies. They can definitely still, mechanically outfight Golden Guardians and stuff, but it doesn't take away from the fact that, team composition versus team composition, there's a pretty clear-cut goal in mind. Cloud down and bottom, able to get a lot of damage onto that turret. And even if you move Gangplank off that bottom tier 2 now, because you're finally getting a lot of damage done to it, you're not going to ever get him off the bottom tier 3. And then the area of turtle just becomes this. So condenses just a little bit more, and it doesn't actually change anything. It's still like, Zergon 4 gas. So you still got to figure out an answer. See Licorice really hell-bent on trying to get that. And this is basically all Golden Guardians has to do. They just have to keep turtling. No, God. You just have to turtle. This is what they want. Oh my God. No. No, it's like a van, like the Cloud9, like, what the, how do I even draw a van? I don't even know. Wait a minute. What? How do I? It's like a cow or something. God. Okay, I don't even know what this is anymore. Okay, like the sliding door van, right? What's the Cloud9 symbol? Where is it? Yeah, give me that. I can't draw that. Oh, it's like 3 9s or whatever, right? And then it's like free candy, like spray painted on. That's like what's happening right now. It's like Rise is like, he's saying free candy. Yeah, he got hit by a drowsy. Yeah, he got caught out. But the point is that Golden Guardians shouldn't even be looking for this. Just continue to scale. Yeah, abort mission. I'm not Bob Ross. All right. Golden Guard. We see this all the time, though. Pro teams, they play to what they want without factoring in what do the opponents need. What do they need to occur? Not what they want to occur. What do they need to occur? This is so tragic. It's so sad. They were in such a good position. They had the area turtled. They had that lock going. They just had to keep scaling up for items. Also, really, really surprised Varus. Varus is going for the he's going for the Runons, but none of these targets are going to be hit by. I mean, I guess these two, right? Like these two, and then obviously Tom plus whoever he's next to. But I think realistically, just going for the wit's end and basically saying, "Hey Eve, you can't actually kill me." Just like laughing at Evelyn and being like, "Yeah, that's cute." Even if she gets onto you, like with a flank or something, she can't stop you. I think it would just be a lot better, actually, for Deathly to, instead of going Runon second, gone Wit's End second. I think that just would have been a much, much better choice. Would have really helped and amplifying Gangplank's ultimate damage, made it a little bit more scary, helps Matt out deal a little bit more damage. High becomes a lot scarier. Obviously helps you against Rise too. He can't just stand still and be a machine gun. And this is the problem that they're gonna experience now. Gangplank is very, very, very tanky. He's going to be extremely difficult to shove off that bottom tier 3 turret. And now all Golden Guardians have to do is just continue to turtle. I do have to say, I mean, this game of Golden Guardians, it looks like a different team from yesterday. And this is what I was trying to say with, you can't just judge teams off like isolated games, You have to really dig a little bit deeper. Are there still problems that were obvious yesterday that are definitely still occurring here today? Yes, absolutely. That's a really long grade. That's not fair. But still, they are looking a lot better. I think Hai's doing a pretty okay job on Zoe. Definitely redeeming himself, at least for the Azir game. The team fighting, though, is definitely where stuff is going to have to shine. One of the things, though, for Golden Guardians, the CS departments across the board, with the exception of Lorlo, they just continue to keep juggling bottom, and this is all they need to do. This is all they need to do. Keep holding that phalanx, and you see this? Okay, didn't need to cast the Gangplank ult. That was a big waste. That was a really, really big waste. It moved them off, and then Cloud9 are actually overreacting to that Gangplank ult. They're backing up now, and then Golden Guardians look like, instead of, you know what they should have done? Is they should have sent like one person to come in here and clear this out, and they should have just immediately ran to Infernal Drake. Should have just immediately ran to Infernal Drake and then had Lorlo come there, set up defensive barrels, and then just capture the Infernal. The Infernal is so big right now. It is so big. Both parties really want that. I mean, just look at the champions' items in the games right now, and look at like what Infernal Drake would mean for them, you know? Double longsword for Licorice, if he would end up picking it up. Longsword for Tom Kench, basically. Longsword for Taric, right? And why are we fighting? Why are we fighting over Baron? Why are we bringing a fight to them? All we need to do is hold the phalanx. No one cares that you just hit item spikes and you're looking to fight. Does it look like you're hitting any timing against them? You could make an argument that, oh yeah, we're hitting an anti-rise Void Staff timing or something. You don't even have magic resist. What? I mean, you have one, what are you doing? You're bringing a fight up their corridor. You're giving them the perfect angles. You're not utilizing defensive barrels on Gangplank. You're coin flipping. And there's no reason to do it. The onus is on them to make something happen. Now Cloud9 going to send one member to get the Infernal Drake. Beautiful choice. Really, really maximizing map presence. Infernal Drake was pretty big. I think Tristana, even Tristana got like a Vamp Scepter in terms of AD out of it. Now they're not out of it. Golden Guardians not out of it, even though that Infernal Drake is there. Jensen using the Zhonya's and the ultimate to get away. And the problem is they're gonna, they have to keep fighting for this vision. It's gonna be basically a really advanced dance. As long as they don't botch it, which they are, they let Kled get right up mid. And this is what I was talking about, right? So like I talked about this yesterday. All right, you see how they're in river, right? They're clearing out vision, they're in river. What do these wards really do? It doesn't really do anything, right? Like, how about we just swap to double blue trinket, right? So we get double blue. How about we swap to double blue? We invest in more control wards. We put the control wards a little bit forward, okay? So see how like there's this control ward? There's this. These are good. These are actually correct control wards, okay? We get a control ward at blue, maybe put it a little bit further up, etc. And then we fight around this, and we constantly just hit this vision, right? We use Zoe. We use Zoe, and we use Zoe's little thing to check the brush. If the brush is empty, one member goes forward, preferably Zoe, right? She goes forward, checks if they're on Baron. If they are on Baron, then they're committed. So now you hold the phalanx inside of here, you advance forward with Jarvan, and then you cast down, Lorlo's ultimate and whatever, and then you rinse, wash, repeat. Okay? There is no reason to be getting vision inside of the river itself. It's just like the swing set analogy that thing that I talked about on stream yesterday. Okay? Here's the swing set. All right? So you got the little swings. Okay? If you have a park near your house, or you're special and you have a swing set in your backyard because you're privileged or something, okay? Go on the swing set, and I want you to just swing, like back and forth, right? And everything just feels natural. And then I want you to close your eyes, okay? You should, unless, like, I don't even know you're special, experience a form of anxiety, just by closing your eyes while you remain in motion. Okay, there should be a form of anxiety. Even though nothing's going to happen. You know that you're just going back and forth. You know nothing's in front of you. You know that you're not going to fall off a cliff. You're not going off a bridge or something like that. Okay? And yet there's a sensation that is uncomfortable. It's unwelcoming. You know? Same thing with this. The vision is luxury. It makes you feel safe. You don't actually need it. You don't need it to know what is in the river. You don't need it to know the speed at which they clear a barren. You can play around that by using no info as info. They just gave the opening. Let's just take a look one more time. Look at Kled, right? See how spread up they all are, right? They gave Kled the opening. They didn't. There was a leak in the. This is like literally watching the movie 300. There was a hole. Cloud9 found the hidden passage. And even still, like, even though Cloud9 just got that beautiful, like, little setup or something, you can see that it still wasn't the end of the world. And now Deathly, like, not even able to entirely be blown up. He ends up finally getting picked up, but still. But it's like, now what are you doing? So you just got that little small victory. Why are we here? What are we afraid of? They can't be on Baron. Why do we need to be mid lane? Why? We got this? We got this to pick up? What are we doing? Now, Cloud9, they're doing a good job. They're they're trying to, they're like the van with free candy. You know? And then, you know, I don't know, maybe some people on Golden Guardians are like, Loco Doco told me not to talk to strangers, and they're like, oh, we're not strangers, we have ice cream. And it comes from the clouds, and they're like, the clouds? And they're like, yeah, cotton candy. And they're like, all right. They like go right into the river. God, it's like Pennywise and Georgie. I don't even know what's going on. Sneaky ends up dying. Doesn't end up, you know. Oh, man. All right. So now, basically, as long as Golden Guardians can fade losing inhibitors with, you know, facing the Baron, they're still in an okay spot. Like, this is a game with a team composition that ideally Cloud9 would have liked to have busted everything wide open around the 2-item mark. 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3 items. Like, those are all of the spots. And I know I'm, like, covering every gap there, but realistically, like, that's when this team composition excelled. Yes, Kled does reach a point where he becomes really, really obnoxious, even inside of the split. But the Baron is really just going to do so much. And you can see Smoothie makes it pretty difficult for contracts. High not able to really do too much, and now they're actually just falling victim to a 1-3-1. Cloud9 executing this fairly well. And Zoe not the best at handling Baron minions. So this is pretty clean. You know, they've opened up everything. Licorice now going to come in, and that's going to be the end of the game, it looks like. So Golden Guardians, again, they played to what they wanted to do rather than what Cloud9 needed them to do. And because of that, they ended up botching the mid game, the mid to late transition, and they just couldn't hold on. So unfortunate for them. Hopefully they'll pick it up later on in the season. I think that this game was a lot better of a showing than their day one game. So, you know, on the upside, that's pretty good. Really curious to see what happens when High is not getting Azir and Zoe, although the Azir gameplay it's not something that looks like you have to ban it against him, at least just from that one game. Zoe gameplay I think was okay, and we'll see like how Zoe continues to be in the LCS and stuff moving forward. So pretty good game overall. One of the better VODs that I think that we got to watch. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So the early game pathing, a lot of the stuff that we talked about, I feel like some opportunities were still missed out on. We got to talk about a lot in the pick ban, and hope that you guys enjoyed that game. Move into the next one now.